welcome back to my channel. What are we doing today? Today we are doing a color along for this month, and we will be coloring this beautiful piece here that I actually drew last year for Smaugust, and I decided to use it for this year's Smaugust, and I wanted to do this as a color along with me. If you're a member of my Patreon, this specific piece is actually up for you to download and color on whatever paper you want to use it on. Today I am using the Crayola Super Tip markers. These are washable water-based markers. I am projecting I will get a lot of streaking with these. I'm also adding either one of these pointer markers in this, and it's either one. I'm not going to be using all three of them, maybe two, but definitely not all three, because I'm not sure how much inks are included in these two. So yeah, I know this one is new, so this one should be good, but these two I'm not so sure about. And I've already selected my color palette. As you can see, yes, I'm using the Super Tip. My color palettes is already set out. I have them right here in front of me, so I don't think I need to do much talking. So now let's get to the coloring. Okay, let's get started. I thank God that I set out my color palette for this ahead of time, because I would have gotten overwhelmed and confused and frustrated if I had not. I wanted to have the dragon as a green dragon, but I wanted him to stand out from the background, from the ground, and I wanted also for the little hobbit creature, because it was actually a drawing challenge that challenged me to draw a halfling with a pet dragon. So and this was last year, like I said, Smaugust challenged. And the beautiful thing is I wanted to separate the main subject from the background. So for the main subject, I went with vertical lines. So, and again, I would have been accepting of the vertical lines because I am working with water-based markers, and those do produce a lot of streaking. Being very cognizant of that and being very accepting of that. And I almost forgot about that dragon tail. I'm going in there with green. Don't ask me what shade of green it is, because these don't come with color, names, or numbers. Unlike all other Crayola products that have names and names on it, like beautiful names like Razzle Dazzled. These don't have any color, names, or numbers. So what I did was I put numbers on them to help me separate them and differentiate them. And again, going in there with my vertical strokes, little things I appreciate about this is that the nibs are very hard. I know it's not something a lot of people appreciate. They love soft brush nibs, but these nibs are very stiff, and I appreciate that about them, because sometimes when I work with brush nibs, they tend to be a bit soft for me, and I have to be mindful about the amount of pressure I have in my hands. But with these, I don't have that hanging over my head, so I am able to go in there with very, very average pressure in my hand and don't feel mindful that I'm gonna bend the nib. I actually tried the Crayola Color of the World to color the halfling, and I think it came out okay, but I think it's because I don't have enough practice with those markers yet. And I was very cognizant of also where my shadow lies. You may not see, there it is. There's a little sticker that I have just above the dragon with a little flashlight drawn on it to kind of remind me where my shadows are. And now I'm coloring the background. I chose a very muted kind of blue for the background because I didn't want to go muted then go dark with it. And also I'm also very mindful that I produce more brush strokes or more strokes when I use the latter end of the marker tip or the nib rather than the point. But with the point, I need to go in small areas, and I need to work very quickly. That way I don't produce as much strokes as possible. And you will notice that when I work on the halfling, he looks flawless, and that's because he's a small little creature, and I went in there with very quick strokes. I'm priming now the acrylic markers so that when they're ready, yeah, I have them. I'm working in like deliberate timing for these. You know, it's not like, okay, I'm only going to do the acrylic marker parts now. I'm actually going to do that, and then I'm going to come back, give it a little time to dry, then come back. And this is what you're seeing me doing here with the little halfling. You notice there's barely any brush strokes in his hair because I was trying to work very quickly and very in a very small area, and that kind of reduced some of the brush strokes for me. Guys, what else can I say about these markers? The other thing I noticed is actually at the end when I tried to put some shadows in, and what I did is I allowed the base there where I had that green to dry completely, and then I put some gray on top of it, thinking that it was going to do some kind of, not necessarily layered, but kind of just cover that green a bit, you know, but it didn't. It really did. It didn't do what I wanted to do. So it's okay. It's okay. You will see it shortly. This was a lot of fun for me. I really enjoyed. I hope you guys were able to follow along, color along, which put it on whatever paper you have. It is in my Patreon. It's a downloadable piece. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I'm going to wrap up here, and I'm going to see you in the end piece. It is finished. I am finished. I had a little marker here that kind of helped me out with light source, kinda, as long as I kept it in mind. And it was a lot of fun. I hope you were able to follow along with me with some of the techniques that I used. One thing I kept in mind, well, I would have told you throughout the piece, that was trying to keep this horizontal and these verticals to kind of separate them a bit from the background, so it doesn't look like everything is all meshed into one. Those are some of the techniques I have learned. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.